Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app today to get free delivery on your first 3 orders, while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Credit Karma makes building your credit straightforward and stress-free with help from our credit builder. Sign up today at creditkarma.com and start enhancing your financial health. Credit Karma, your partner in building a brighter financial future. Credit Builder plan is serviced by Credit Karma Credit Builder and requires a line of credit and savings account provided by Cross River Bank, member FDIC.
About that, we teased it in this week's episode.
Did we?
It's in the cold open. You said Kevin's getting his nerds removed.
Whoops.
And then I said, oh, we should talk about that. And similarly, I was eating a granola bar like I am now.
but then we didn't talk about it. Oh, because it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. But now they're gone.
Now they are gone. Yes. Do you want to kick us off then?
Yeah.
I didn't think of anything funny to say.
Welcome to Text Me Back, the only podcast
where gravity doesn't exist and people have no brain.
I'm Lindy West.
And I'm Megan Hatcher Mays. The beautiful and stunning Megan Hatcher Mays. This week, Lindy, we're going to be gabbing. We're going to be talking about the following topics. Tidings. / we done it again. We did an oopsie daisy with a line delivery that we would like to share with you. And then, fair listeners, we will be talking about conspiracies and mysteries of the likes that not even Robert Stack could imagine.
Kevin has something to say about that.
Kevin has something to say. Kevin Stack. Let me close this door.
Yeah, maybe you should do that before we start the recording, Megan.
It's worse if it's closed and he wants to get in.
I know. I'm just kidding. I know how dogs work.
I'm no Johnny-come-lately to the dog game. And finally, we will be discussing What You Watchin', which I kind of wanted to just be about Ink Master again, but will not do that. We will relieve you of further discourse about Ink Master. And hopefully none of you started watching it after last week's episode, because I will be very upset to discover any Text Me Back lights got into it.
No,
right?
that was a cautionary segment. Do not watch.
It was like calling poison control.
Yeah. Also, I would like to acknowledge that I think we've done What You Watchin' every week for the last 9 weeks. And
that's true.
This podcast is about other things besides television.
I mean, when people ask, what's the podcast about? I don't know.
Again, I always just say snakes, and we rarely. I haven't even talked to you about the vine snake, the hognose. There's so many. The sand boa.
It's like we've been teasing the definitive ranking of snakes for almost a year since this podcast started, and not a one time have we ranked a snake. Not once.
I know.
But
so, the podcast. Okay, my mom used to always tell me that podcast is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're going to get.
That is what she said, and it's so weird that she was like saying it in 1989. You know,
she said it a lot, and she's saying it more and more
at some of the highest levels we've ever seen. Speaking of which, before we get started, are you registered to vote? Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you're registered to vote at some of the highest levels we've ever seen, because we have very few days left, and I'm scared.
Also, Megan and I have made a vow. It's called the No-Giggle Pledge.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
And
violated immediately.
Okay. So Megan and I have decided that since the election is in less than a month, we are taking Donald Trump seriously for 1 month, and we are not laughing at the stuff that he says.
Even if he says, I would rather get eaten by a shark than zapped by a boat's electric motor, we will not laugh. This is serious, people.
Even if he is at a rally and he says, where are the gays for Trump? And then a guy raises his hand, and then Trump says, you don't look gay.
Thank you very much. Where's gays for Trump? You don't look gay. You know good. He said you don't look gay.
We will not laugh.
We will not laugh. Hey, hold that in. Furthermore, if he continues to believe that Hannibal Lecter is a real guy, that's not funny, and I am not laughing. This is serious.
Not just a real guy. Not just a real guy, but a great guy. Great American.
A great guy. A real person who existed and who rocks. No laughing.
Nope.
Uh-oh, Lindy.
No,
But
that
anyway,
was about something else.
Yeah, I was laughing at other stuff.
I read the Garfield comics this morning, and I remembered something that it said.
It was a particularly good family circus. Listen, and here's the deal. I'm being serious. Here's the deal. If we giggle even one time at Donald Trump, we will donate $5 to Kamala Harris for every giggle. Yeah,
I will.
So
I will.
That's what
I'm
we're going to
do it right now.
Yeah, because it's not funny.
If I'm being honest, if I'm doing an honest accounting, I think I giggled throughout the announcement of the No-Giggle pledge.
Probably like $15 then. Yeah.
Add another 0 and double it. What's that?
I don't know.
Call the bookkeeper.
Our bookkeeper is going to be like, I can't sell that to the IRS. No, that is not going to work. Okay. Shall we commence with our tidings?
Hit it. There she
Who
is.
wants to start? Who has the best tiding among the two of us?
I don't have much because I got vaccinated. I got a flu.
Oh, I'm informing RFK Jr. immediately.
I
Busted,
know.
Sweetie.
Now he's not gonna make love to me for a month. That's what he says. No, listen. I got a flu shot in my right arm and I got a COVID shot in my left arm.
Ooh.
So then I had to be sleeping for 2 days. But now I'm fine.
The twofer is rough.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good reminder to our listeners. Make sure you get your vaccines. Don't tell Robert that we said that. Thanks.
Also I went to Eugene, Oregon and I did my Castles show. And some Text Me Backalites came.
How
Isn't
cute.
that nice?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so nice. How did the shows go? Deeply successful, I assume.
Yeah, they went really good. It's a comedy club, and so the schedule at a comedy club is 2 shows a night. So I had to do a 7 p.m. show and then a 9:30 show.
9:30? That's the latest time of day.
Megan, I've never seen that time before.
I've never seen that on a clock.
I didn't even know the clock could make those numbers, Megan. So that was difficult. And also, I discovered that the people of Eugene are my people because nobody came to those shows.
They too were sleeping.
They agreed. Yes. So the 7 p.m. shows absolutely packed. The 9:30 p.m. shows, I would say we had 20 people on Friday night and 30 people on Saturday night versus like several hundred people. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it sounds like more people than it is. But
it's a big room.
It's quite a big room, but they were so sweet and kind and we got through it and I did my little razzle dazzle. It was very fun. And I don't remember why I brought that up. Oh, then afterwards, the nice people that own the club who invited me there, they were like, you should do stand-up. And I was like,
I wish.
I thought I just did. I just did an hour-long comedy show.
Also, the last time I tried, they wanted to kill me. So, I mean, that's not even a joke. Just so if people are not aware of Lindy's personal lore, literally, dickhead Seattle stand-up comedians were like, You know who I wish would die? So
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons we don't really watch stand-up comedy anymore.
I have a problem with it. I struggle. I struggle to watch it. Even though there's so many lovely, talented stand-ups now.
The whole industry feels a little tainted to me after all of that.
But I must say, this experience was actually very validating because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I can go sell out shows at a comedy club. And then the comedy club owner says, you should do stand-up. You're really good at it.
Yeah,
that's nice. So I felt like, and he knew all about, and he's like a man comedian, and he knew all about all the bad people. And he was like, I always thought those people were stupid because I always thought
they are stupid.
You were
to be
funny.
honest,
and I
don't remember, like similar to our Rude episode from a couple of weeks ago, I don't even remember who any of those people's names are. You know what I mean?
I know.
So
I think I have.
Congrats.
I'm gonna search some common woke comedians in my screen grabs folder and see if anyone is I can blackmail anyone.
If anyone pivoted to wokeness, you're busted.
Yeah, busted, sweetie, and so are you, Paul.
And so are you, Paul. I feel like we're constantly saying you're busted, sweetie, and we haven't explained where that earworm comes from. But
we should talk about that.
We should. It's not that interesting. I'm really sorry. It's just from a SNL skit from like 1994 that I used to have on VHS. And it was the Gap Girls. Yep. And I want to say that was the one with Chris Farley. You probably have seen the Chris Farley part where he's like, these fries are good.
Christy, I thought you were on a diet.
Lay off me, man. I'm starving. Yeah. We should have never gone down this road.
You know what?
Just rewatch.
We're gonna put a pin in it. We're gonna locate the VHS.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna delete everything that we just said, and we're gonna come back to this next week. So anyway, well, I'm excited. I'm glad that your Eugene shows went well. That's very exciting. Congrats.
Thank you.
And if you're a comedy club owner anywhere in the United States who wants to have castles ranked in your show, go ahead and call Lindy West, bud. She's got the definitive take.
I think I enjoyed doing this club so much. I think I might pivot. I was going to try to tour theaters because that's what I have done so far in like the Pacific Northwest. But I kind of think it might be more fun to do comedy clubs. So anyway, if you own a comedy club, call me.
Give us a call. Here's my tiding. In the realm of Kevin, this is sort of a dog thought, except it's more of a Meagan thought. Kevin, I'm a dog, right? Kevin, our beautiful boy, has become a man or something. Anyways, he got neutered. And now he can no longer hump to his heart's content. He is hump free, which is great news for my other dog, Marge. And frankly, great news for Adam's leg, my husband, because that was a favorite.
Oh, he was humping? Kevin was humping?
Oh, he was straight humping.
Oh,
buddy.
God.
Yeah. Lots of humpage. So they got removed and he had to get his little stitchies, and they gave him a cone, the most ridiculously large cone you've ever seen. And it squashed up his hair all flat and made his head disappear, basically. So we ended up getting him something called a suiticle. And it's like a little full body suit that you put on him so he can't get to his area while he's recovering, so that he didn't have to wear the absurd cone of shame. And he hates it. The thing is, like, when we take him out, we have to take off the suit because, you know, his area is not available to do his business, his important dog business, which is pee-pee poo-poo.
Right.
He doesn't like it when you take it off, and he doesn't like it when you put it back on. So every time I try to take it on or off, he's always like, harr, harr, harr. And I was like, oh my God, he's never said such a thing to me in all my life, you know?
Yeah.
But he's healing up really well. He is, again, hasn't humped a single item or person in a week since
That's amazing.
Had the removal. We're so proud of him. You know, as a learned man, he eventually just needed to learn humping only under consensual circumstances, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's your Kevin update and my tidings. That's the most interesting thing that's happened to me in a month. It's my dog's balls.
Goodbye.
So, and that's tidings.
I have no memory of what we're doing.
We're doing conspiracies and mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now that we're done talking about dog balls, which is neither a conspiracy nor a mystery, we're going to talk about some real conspiracy, some real mystery, some real hard-hitting stuff. We each have a mystery/conspiracy we would like to share with you today. Lindy, hit them with your mystery.
Okay, this has been I realized this hit me like a lightning bolt a few, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. Do you remember the chokehold that American Apparel had upon us?
How could I forget?
In the early 2000s.
Yes.
It was everywhere. The billboards were everywhere. The stores were everywhere. The clothes were everywhere. They sold sort of basics, but like slutty basics, in many different colors. It's if you needed a hoodie, that's where you would go. And then the advertisements were disturbing, and then eventually the CEO was canceled, and then all the stores closed. Like, I never really understood why all the stores closed, because it seemed like everyone was always buying their clothes. But admittedly, I do not know how business works at all. So
I feel like even if a company goes into bankruptcy, it doesn't necessarily mean that every store closes, and they still have a website, so they're making stuff, but it's just they only sell t-shirts, I think. But at its height, they were selling like ass shorts and like 70s jumpsuits and
everything.
Really tight underwear, so tight.
You could get thigh-high socks with the stripes at the top if you wanted to be like a slutty 70s roller skating girl. And you could get like a tube top, and you could get a bikini, and you could get a hat. And there were brick and mortar stores freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just can't overstate how much people were gripped by this brand in the early 2000s.
Because it was like a vibe also. It was like they were very quote unquote cool, and I think everyone wanted to look like, and also I think that Terry Richardson did the ads, so they were like very exploitative and unsettling.
Correct.
They purposely looked shitty, like that was like Terry Richardson's whole thing was to like overexposed, very bright, just like on a white background, and everyone was like, I love it, I want to do drugs in a jumpsuit too.
Very, very, early Vice magazine vibe.
Yeah, it was that whole era feels very interconnected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I was no exception. I mean, I don't think I could fit in. I don't know that they had my size in the more unique items, but I was certainly buying tees and hoodies and socks and hats and whatever. Okay, so here's my question, Meagan. Where is it? Where's all the clothes, Meagan? Where did they go? Why am I not seeing constant American Apparel in the thrift stores? I go thrifting, Meagan. This dress I'm wearing right now is thrifted. Where are all the tube tops? Where are all the hoodies? Why am I not seeing it anywhere in any store? Because there should be millions of these garments.
It seems like it.
Don't tell me, that's because they were so shitty. Oh yeah, I think part of their thing was like, we're made in sweatshops in LA instead of
I think actually the issue was that they were saying they weren't making them in sweatshops. They were made in LA,
right.
but the factory in LA had some questionable labor practices.
Right.
Yes.
But don't tell me that these garments were such poor quality that they've all disintegrated, because that doesn't track. Because for example, just yesterday I saw a TikTok where this woman found on like Poshmark or something a wet seal going out top from 2001 that someone was selling for $200, and that was just a little piece of mesh with some beads on it. And Wet Seal was several tiers below American Apparel in quality.
It was infinity tiers below American Apparel. And you can still find Forever 21 stuff in thrift stores and stuff. And that stuff would disintegrate off your body while you were wearing it. And I would like to say this as an additional point, as an additional piece of evidence. I still have an American Apparel t-shirts in my dresser right now that I bought from the American Apparel on Broadway in probably like 2007, and I still have it. It's not disintegrated. It's like, it's like worn. It's been broken in. Obviously, the aged look that people pay extra money for, the stitching is still in place. It's not disintegrated.
Yes. Like Goodwill is full of Massimo brand old Target stuff or whatever. Like it's it's chock-a-block. Where did all the American Apparel go? Did it really exist? Is this some sort of mass hallucination?
Is this Mandela effect? Was I on cocaine through the entire early aughts and we were having a shared delusion? Did the American Apparel on Broadway actually exist?
I can see it right now in my mind's eye. But who can trust their mind's eye?
Say, not me. We've spoken of this soup in there. Mostly.
I'm genuinely perturbed, and if anyone has a conspiracy, so this is more of a mystery than a conspiracy because I can't even theorize, Megan.
The only thing I can think is that maybe when they restructured, they do that thing, like companies often do that thing where they'll just send textiles to Africa and then it all just ends up at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened, but I don't see why they would do that. I just feel like surely you could sell that off to people, even if you were closing stores and going out of business.
Well,
it's so weird.
Even if you shipped all the stock off, what about all of the purchased garments?
Exactly.
Why are people not donating them? Where have they gone?
And
I don't buy either that they're so beloved that everyone kept every single American Apparel garment they ever bought. I didn't.
That simply did not occur. You did not do that.
I didn't.
So, listen, if you have a theory or if you have evidence as to what happened to our missing American Apparel garments, I don't know what we're going to do with them when we find them. But we'll do something. We'll do something with them.
Yeah.
We'll make a big quilt that stretches across the land for peace.
If you're Dov Charney.
No. Don't
you
call.
Dare.
If you call the best friend party phone, I'm gonna get your ass. No, but if you have a thought, conspiracy, if you have evidence, give us a call. Best friend party phone 703-829-0003 or text us. Yes, Lindy has her hands raised.
Caveat: if you are a professional thrifter / vintage seller, don't call and say, I see it all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. That's boring.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to just be like, you're wrong, don't call.
Don't call. Don't you dare.
That's not interesting or funny. Stop it.
Stop it. Stop it. What's your conspiracy, Megan?
Would you like to hear my conspiracy? My conspiracy is web-based. Look, I have had a little bit of insomnia since having my surgery, and I feel like I've read every single Reddit post and I've seen every single Instagram post to the point where they're showing me stuff I've already seen because there's nothing new to show me because I've already seen it all. I've gotten to the end.
Yeah.
I've reached the ice wall of the internet. You know what I mean?
I think I get some stuff in my feed that you don't see. And yet, whenever I send it to you, you react negatively.
You have the worst algorithm of anyone currently alive. That is a guarantee. You people don't know what I go through. Okay, she'll send me something that's like proof of Jesus Christ, and it's like a beagle holding its hands together, and it's like dog praise. God's real, like shit like that, and it's like, what is this? No context. By the way, she sends it no caption, no context. She just sends it raw. Just it's like, what is this, bro? What is it? Or it'll be a lady being like, I love Mountain Dew, and then she like twerks on the Mountain Dew. Like that's what do you want me to do with that information? I don't like it. And then it fucks up my algorithm. I can't even be on there, you know?
Yeah.
Bad. Yeah. That's what she says. I want all to suffer. That's the Lindy West guarantee. I want you all to suffer. Anyways. So I also have that thing. I don't know if this is related, but I have that thing on my phone, Ask App Not to Track, because I don't want all of the various apps to know what I get up to and what I'm looking at. So I don't always get targeted ads, but I get a lot of the ads you'd expect for like a woman my age would get. So I get a lot of like Everlane, the podcast sheets that you know and love, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pretty common, I think. But lately, I've been getting these ads that are completely inscrutable. And a lot of times they're from Amazon, who I hate. And I really try my hardest just not to buy stuff from Amazon. And I don't have my own Prime account. I don't care for Amazon's vibes. But so I've been getting these ads from Amazon that's just a picture of a product with no additional information. And then there'll just be a link that says shop now underneath.
Yeah.
And it'll be stuff like a pair of jeans pulled all the way down on a wooden butt, or like a bean bag in the shape of a human man.
Yeah.
On his back, like dead bug style.
I got one. I don't know if this is the same thing, but it sounds similar. I got one that was just one little pointed leather shoe. It said elf's shoe.
And it's like, stuff that you would never be able to figure out what it is by looking at it. Or like, it's a picture of a man holding up just the corner of a door. And it's like, well, why did you install a movable door corner? Or like, I got one, it's just like a red piece of plastic that sort of looks like a brass knuckle. And it says, tail devil. Made in hell. And it'll show the rating that the product gets, so like 4 stars out of 5 or whatever, and then it says shop now right underneath. And it's like, what the fuck is a tail devil? What's a door corner? What is the man in dead bug pose? What is this stuff? And it's so annoying because, as we have stated many times on the show, I hate a mystery.
Yeah.
And thus we arrive at my conspiracy. They are doing this on purpose. They are making the ads purposefully weird and inscrutable and confusing so that you will click on shop now to find out what the product is.
They know that you can't help but scroot when you see something inscrutable.
You have to be like, I gotta scroot the shit out of this
ASAP
before I go insane. Before I go literally insane. So of course I have to click on these things, thus taking me to the Amazon website. But here's the thing. They know I'm not going to buy a tail devil. They know I don't need a door corner.
Sure.
I absolutely don't need a human-sized beanbag. A human-shaped beanbag. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But now you're on the Amazon website.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, looking for this other thing that you actually do want. And then you'll be like, oh, maybe I do. I do need to get more trash bags now that you mention it, Jeff. And I don't like it. No. I don't like this. I think a fraud is being perpetrated on the American public. Mm-hmm. You know what I think this is? I feel like this is the grandson of like Upworthy. Yeah. Like that website that would be like, this man fell down a cliff. You'll never guess what happens next. Yep. It's just like, you have to know. Now I have to know. It's so stupid and annoying. I know what you're doing, but I have got to know. What is it? What happened to him?
This woman scrooted an elf shoe. You won't guess what she found. I would have to click on that.
Or like, the real mystery started when the elf showed up. And you're like, what? The elf showed up?
It's the same as that drives me nuts, even though it's basic marketing. But videos where it's like a montage of like cats being silly, and then it'll be like, you won't believe the last clip in this video.
Fuck you. Just
like, I'm gonna watch it or I'm not. I don't know. Except then when they say that, it works on me.
I know. It's annoying. What I would like is for us all, I don't know, similar to the No-Giggle pledge. Let's just, I guess, live shrouded in mystery. Let's stop rewarding them for this. I know I will not be able to stick to this pledge.
No, you're not.
Because, by the way, I did click on every single one of those ads because I had to know what they were.
I'm getting you door corner for Christmas.
For the record, the door corner is for cats to get in and out. And I'm like, this is a completely unnecessary product. Just leave the door open a little bit. They can get in and out. They don't need a little corner. That's way worse. And then the tail devil was for a skateboard. Give me a break. Like I've ever been on a skateboard my fucking life. And then the beanbag man, I guess, is for judo. So you can toss around a man-sized beanbag to fight. And
that sounds fun. I feel like you might like that.
You might have got me there. You might have ate a little bit, Joe. You might be onto something with the beanbag man. Okay, something to think about.
You are acquitted of scamming on that one.
but the other charges still pending.
This isn't really related, but somehow it kind of feels related, like in terms of being strong enough to withstand the urge to scroot. I'm trying something new in my life called, you're not going to believe this, one screen at a time.
Oh, she thinks she's fancy.
Yeah. I have been watching television without playing a little game on my phone. And Meagan, it makes the television way better. Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm way more invested. I know what's going on. I feel
you don't have to rewind.
I don't have to rewind. I feel pure. Like I feel like I am a nun who's living a simple life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've taken a vow of poverty.
Yes. It's beautiful, Meagan. Last night I watched the first 2 new episodes of Great British Baking Show with no phone and no Nintendo Switch, and I felt it. I felt
amazing.
every moment. Yeah.
It's crazy because it's really only been like 10 years out of my life that I have lived that way.
Yeah.
Because, before you would just watch TV.
And that was enough. And that was enough. Meagan, I feel myself returning to a younger version of myself.
Yeah. Like, not to be a boomer about it, but it was a simpler time. You know what I mean? You just because I remember like in my youth, I mean, we've discussed, we used to record stuff off TV all the time. We would watch it. We would ingest the details up to the point where like, we're still quoting SNL sketches from 1994. We're still thinking about stuff that happened on Freaks and Geeks.
When they autopsy me and they take my brain out, the grooves of my brain are just a picture of David Spade.
That's correct. Sorry, but it's true. You know what? I used to be able to make connections. Like I would see an actor and be like, oh, he's from, and I would be able to just like list his entire IMDb. I'm not saying that was like a good use of my time, but what I am saying is under no circumstance could I pull that off these days. And it's because I have 19 screens in front of me. You know what I mean?
Meagan, listeners, I don't know how to even explain this, but Meagan was incredible. Meagan was breathtaking to watch. Meagan, watching TV with Meagan, and then Meagan would be like, "Oh, that's Tyler Labine," and you'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, he was on. It was like a cruise ship high school with
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
But like Meagan absorbed IMDb. Like if we were to cut your brain open, Meagan.
Oh, it would be Tyler Labine. Mostly.
No, it would be the complete source code for imdb.com.
Yeah, it would be like the binary code for the website.
I mean, yesterday I was watching well, we forgot to do our first segment, which was We Done It Again, but we'll get to that in a second. I was watching 10 Things I Hate About You in order to source a clip for our upcoming segment, We Done It Again. And a Ham walked through the room and he said, what's that guy's name again? And I said, David Krumholtz. And that is but a shadow of Meagan's power.
You guys have no idea what we were getting up to. By the way, the show was called Breaker High.
Yeah.
It was a show about teenagers going to high school on a cruise ship, and Ryan Gosling was involved. Okay, so up until like probably Barbie, to be totally honest with you, Breaker High was my top Ryan Gosling television/movie connection.
Yeah.
But I can't do that anymore. I really can't. I mean, part of it is like when you're a teenager, you don't have anything else you need to know or learn, really. But now I have like a job, so that sucks. So, I have to dedicate some space to that and not all of my energy to the cast of Breaker High. But part of it is the screens, for sure. That's not a conspiracy or a mystery, but that is, I think, how I got so deep into the ad algorithm that I ended up getting the tail devil served to me. So there's that. So that's the conspiracy. Be careful out there. The devil works hard, but Jeff Bezos works harder. So just watch your ass.
The tail devil works hard.
Made in hell. You know who else was made in hell? Jeff Bezos. Be careful. Coming up, we're going to do our first segment, which we're calling We Done It Again.
Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Lindy, can you think of a time recently when you didn't feel like you could be your full self, like you were hiding behind a mask?
Yeah, Megan, that's kind of been my whole life. As a insecure dork, I feel like I'm constantly pretending to be someone better or cooler or more appealing than I really am, which really does a number on the psyche, I gotta say.
It surely does. It's October. It's spooky season. There are masks everywhere, but you really don't want to put on the mask of fake cool person.
No,
that's
Megan,
not good for your mental health.
No, and it's a really difficult mask to take off. And I feel like since I've been in therapy as an adult, I'm getting better and better at actually living my life as who I am, buying embarrassing things. I recently acquired this small porcelain clown doll, and I'm not embarrassed, Megan. And that's, I have my therapist to thank for that.
That's, as they say, that's growth. It's good to take the mask off from time to time, and it's really helpful to talk it through in therapy so you can really be your authentic self. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's totally online, it's convenient, it's flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. That's pretty key. If you're not vibing with a therapist, you can always switch it up.
That rocks, Megan. I can't recommend highly enough taking off the mask, and you can take off the mask with BetterHelp. Just visit betterhelp.com/textmeback today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/textmeback.
Getting the smile and confidence you've been dreaming about, all from the comfort of your home, isn't a total mystery with Bite Clear Aligners. Just don't be surprised if all your friends start asking, "What's your secret?" Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Bite Clear Aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Hey, Prime members. Have you heard? You can listen to your favorite podcasts ad-free. Good news. With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free podcast. That's amazon.com/ad-free podcast to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Okay, it's time to go back in time and do the show properly. We're about to talk about what we're watching, but before we do that, we're going to introduce a segment we're calling We Done It Again. We said something about a line delivery that may not have been correct.
Yeah, if you're a new listener, go back, I don't know, 10 episodes or something. We talked about
it was like 2 episodes ago.
Oh.
Maybe 3.
No, 5.
No. I don't
6.
know.
5.
You're asking the wrong person.
No, Larry, I already gave you twice your dose. Larry, you're gonna overdose. house. And then we went and we rented the film for the podcast, and we played that scene. And Megan, can you tell us what Courtney actually says?
Yes. She says, "No, Larry, you're gonna overdose." I do think she says it a little bit. Hey,
you're done it again.
No, I'm not done it again. Because when we listen back, and listeners validated this.
No, I know.
She does say it a little bit weird.
But little she says bit more weird. Like Larry.
87. Many people say she's saying it 87% weird. That's what they said.
Yeah.
So it was like over. No, it was more
she
like
says,
overdose.
Overdose.
I want some more.
Larry, I just gave you twice your dose.
Please, please, please.
Larry, you're gonna overdose.
It was weird, but not that weird.
Yes. And that is what we've done again. Last week's episode, I brought up another thing Megan used to say a lot. I have vivid memories of laughing at Megan saying this many, many times, which is that in the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, allegedly, we said in last week's episode, that allegedly Larry Miller says, "I thought you were going to go to UW, be a husky like me. Woof." Now you do it real. Like, Megan was the real champion of this. You were a superstar.
I used to say that he said, "Thought you're going to go to UW. Be a husky like me." Woof.
Yeah. So then we're putting together, like, you said it all the time. We thought it was so funny because it was weird that he said he put the emphasis on the U and UW.
At most, you would say you would put more emphasis on dub, but
yeah,
they're kind of co-equal emphases,
yeah.
I guess.
But
you would not say UW.
Never. So
weird.
And then he does a weird, aggressive bark at the end.
Woof.
So then we're putting the episode together. I'm going and I'm sourcing all the audio clips to send to our producer Allie, and I go skim through 10 Things I Hate About You on Hulu.com, home of Shrill TV's
Never
Shrill.
heard of it.
And I get to the scene, and here's what Larry Miller actually says.
Honey, that's great, but isn't Sarah Lawrence on the other side of the country?
Thus the basis of its appeal.
Yeah. I thought we decided you were going to stay here and go to school. You dub like me. Be a husky.
Much like, "No, Larry, you're going to overdose." It's not weird.
It's certainly not how you would say it normal.
Yeah. He doesn't say it normal.
But he doesn't say it that weird either.
He doesn't say, "I thought you were going to go to the UW, be a husky like me." Whoop.
He doesn't say that at all. And what's crazy about it is I think I've watched 10 Things I Hate About You more than any other film in the history of cinema. So what happened?
10 Things I Hate About You. 10 Things I Hate About You. Great Seattle company.
A great Seattle company. One of our top Seattle exports. 10 Things I Hate About You. We pooped the bed there a little bit, gang. He does not bark.
Nope.
He does not really say UW.
He says it a little, though.
He says it a little, but where did the bark come from, bro? All he does is go, "Rrr," which I will say is very weird, but just not what I thought he did.
You know what, Megan? This is a great segue into my Whatcha Watchin'.
Give it to us.
Because speaking of people saying something where you can just detect that they're not quite from the place that they're pretending to be from, much like Larry Miller, not a Seattleite, doesn't know that we say UW and we don't say
Stop lying.
UW.
And we also, would you grr to indicate you were talking about a dog?
A husky dog?
Yeah, like
First of all,
you'd be like, grr.
Husky dogs.
Do that?
Husky dogs make a very distinctive noise, which is
they're not even really barking. They're screaming at the top of their lungs.
Like women.
Anyways.
So, okay, I got what may or may not have been COVID-19 a few weeks ago. I live in the woods. I did not test, because when you test and then it says you have it, that's scary. So I said, I'm switching my mind back into sleep mode, and I stayed on the couch.
Self-quarantining and not testing.
Correct.
So, goodbye.
So I literally like shut myself up here in the attic. Aham would bring me plates of food and leave them outside my door, like
You do like a single knock and then
and then scurry downstairs. So during that time, I watched the entirety of a show on BritBox that I chose at random, I would say, called McDonald and Dodds. And this is a British mystery show, a murder mystery police show set in Bath, England. And it's about two detectives who are a little bit of a mismatch. One of them is young and normal, and the other one is older, and he's like kind of a savant. Like, he notices little details, and he seems bumbling, but then he'll be like, but the train, this kind of train only has 4 pistons, or, whatever. So
I bet they have a lot to learn from each other.
Exactly. She's skeptical at first, but then he wins her over. And it's one of these cozy mysteries, so it's not scary. It's a little bit silly. The mysteries are insane. They don't make any sense, but it was very pleasant. It actually, like, for sure fulfilled the brief of being cozy. And I just lay perfectly still and I watched episode after episode of this show.
Amazing.
So I get to episode 1 of season 4. Title of episode: Jinxie Sings the Blues.
Oh,
and
dear.
So what they've done is they've made an episode about the blues. And the plot of the episode is that Jinxie, which is the older detective's childhood best friend, he loved the blues. He's traversed the American South for decades. And he has finally gotten his hands on Robert Johnson's map of the crossroads where he met the devil in 1932. And he made a deal with the devil he sold his soul to the devil in exchange for the blues. So, okay, so here's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Much like on The Sopranos, when they try to have black people on The Sopranos.
Not great.
It's not great. And I don't know that McDonald and Dodds does it worse than The Sopranos, but there's something about it that's so embarrassing. Like, British people trying to engage with Black American culture without like talking to any Black American
single American
people
of any race.
Yeah, even a white American could have
even a
helped
white
out.
American probably could have helped you at least a little.
So one of the main characters in this mystery. Oh, so anyway, Jinxie gets murdered, and presumably it has something to do with the map.
Because of the map. Oh, yeah. Maybe he was murdered by Satan.
Maybe he was. One of the main suspects is a American professor of the blues. He's like an academic who studies the blues. His name's Clarence Adderley, and this is no slight on this actor who does a tremendous job with what he is given.
I'm sure he did his best.
He did his best. I'm going to play you a couple clips of Clarence Adderley talking about the blues. So here's the first one. They go to see him at this sort of like festival of ideas in the town where he's giving a little talk. And then at the end of his little talk, he treats the audience to a little bit of a song. He sings a little bit of the blues, as is the tradition of his people.
Our riff doesn't atrophy because it's developed and improvised upon by the likes of Jimmy Page, Peter Green, and Eric Clapton. Tell my friend boy Willie Brown, I'm standing at the crossroads. Believe I'm sinking down.
So why? Okay. Why? What guitar part are you playing? Why'd you play the guitar like that? Like, the actor is not playing. The actor is not playing the guitar, which means you could have had anyone play real chords on the guitar, but instead it's like work there, and then he's like, oh, the blues.
Yes, the famous blues riff of.
Okay,
just like America wrote it up.
So then, a little bit later in the episode,
now the question that fascinates me as an Afro Anglo-American from the hood is why.
Nothing about it I like. Not a thing.
Again, this is not a criticism of this actor who is really good. Why did they make him say that? Okay.
Afro-Anglo-American.
Megan, do you identify as an Afro-Anglo-American?
I mean, is he trying to say that he has dual British citizenship or something? Like, I don't
think so. I feel
why
like
would
his
he
character.
say that?
It's just it's a natural way to describe yourself that we hear all the time.
Yeah, I'm constantly hearing that from members of my own family who are Black. I say it constantly while I'm playing the blues, by the way. So, you know what this reminds me of? This is not really the same because this is Australian and not British, but on Phryne Fisher, there's an episode about jazz.
Yes.
And a quote unquote American jazz singer is in Australia. There's a murder involved and blah, blah, blah. The stuff that she says is a little bit embarrassing, but really the accent just takes you out of it. She's, again, absolutely no shade to the woman. I can't do an Australian accent. I'm sure it's very hard.
And that's why
no one
casts you to play an Australian on their TV show.
That's the main thing keeping me out of Hollywood. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. But it's just like, it's like Phryne will go up to this woman and be like, did you see what happened? And she'll be like, no, I don't know anything that happened in the club. Like she's doing this heinous Southern accent, but she every now and again she'll do like the Australian pronunciation of no, and it's like, oh my god, I can't watch this episode.
That show's so good though. No,
that show rocks.
So wait, I have 2 more little clips to play you, and then we'll be done.
Version 3 is Robert Johnson.
You're right.
Straight out of Compton. Compton Dander.
I don't know what Compton Dando is.
I'm sure it's some British shit.
First of all, he says number 3 is Robert Johnson.
Spelled with an O-U. Johnson.
Okay, I'm sorry. Compton Dando. Compton Dando is a small village and civil parish on the River Chew in the affluent Chew Valley in England. It is in the Bath and Northeast Somerset Council area. And like, why would that guy? He doesn't live there. He's a visiting professor. He hasn't heard of Compton Dando.
Not also, straight out of Compton. Why did they do that?
I understand this is that kind of like benevolent racism. It's obvious that British people think that American Black people are really cool, but American Black people are not constantly saying straight out of Compton apropos of nothing.
Those are on t-shirts at Walmart that white people buy. Okay? Like, please stop.
Okay, but this is an example of my absolute favorite thing that happens when a show is written for a British audience featuring a storyline with a Black American character. It makes me laugh every time, and this is such a good example. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Oh, you really need to grow up. I grew up. No, I was dragged up on a council estate. We had nothing. You, just a posh boy. Yeah, I see it in your manner. I can hear it in your voice. I hear the English public school. I can hear the entitlement, the privilege. Just another posh boy who thinks it's all just a game.
Wow. Removed from the scene immediately by the use of the word council estate.
Yo, me and my homies grew up on a council estate in Compton.
That's not what we call it. Also, posh? Posh? Let me tell you something. No one in America had even heard the word posh until the Spice Girls came around in 1996. Don't you ever put the word posh in an American's mouth like that.
Day, that's the only context in which we use it. Nobody is using posh as an adjective.
No, posh boys. By the way, his accent really fell off. And he's like, English public school.
It sounds like Maggie Smith all of a sudden. May she rest in
What?
power.
What is a weekend? Posh boys. I was
Anyway,
like, oh no.
it's unwatchable, but I love it so much. It's so funny. I screamed so loud through my COVID haze when he said council estate. Oh my God.
It's so wrong. How is it that they know Hood and Compton, but nobody looked up, no one came across the word projects? Like nobody.
Well, that's why
they're like, council estate, close enough.
If you're gonna do this, you gotta at least hire an American Black person.
Yeah.
Because unless it was conscious, I will say that when my books come out in the UK, they do make me change some stuff like that. There's an editor that goes through and Britishizes certain things, and I'm like, but I didn't say that, so that people can understand.
Use the word lorry.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's what I'm watching, and I look for it when you're watching British TV. It is so funny when they try to write Black American characters. I mean, it's very disrespectful, but obviously, I'm just some white lady. I'm not here to be the authority, but I do know that we don't say council estate.
We don't say council estate. I think that your average British person would be able to discern the American word for that, which is maybe projects or affordable housing, whatever the phrase would be.
They're going for projects, for sure.
I think enough American music has reached the shores of England that they would be able to figure out what the different American words meant.
We make most of the media,
We invented most culture. Sorry, British people. Sorry. The good stuff anyway.
Anyway, it's you know what? Since the UK is kind of like our grandpa, he gave birth to us. It is exactly like your grandpa trying to do the youthful slang.
Yeah, it's like a grandpa who goes viral on TikTok for having drip. Yeah. Except it can be cute, a little cringy though.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and it's just the same as your grandpa saying that he's the Rizzler, the Riz.
It's your grandpa saying you got to pay the phantom tax.
Exactly.
I don't know what that one means.
I don't either. So we're your grandpa.
I guess I'll have to get a BritBox subscription because I am almost out of slop to watch.
Oh, Megan, there is so much British slop. You can use mine. You can use mine. Okay, I'll send you my login because you let me use your Peacock login.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about what I'm watching, which is also about some cultural differences. It's called Chimp Crazy. And it's a documentary series on HBO Max. And despite the fact that I think this is an incredibly popular and much watched documentary, I have not been able to find any discourse about it on the various social media platforms I frequent. So I really just need somebody to talk to about this. Basically, it's a 4-part series it ends up being about one woman in particular, but it's about people who raise chimpanzees in the United States of America. Truly a hobby that under no circumstance could I understand. I don't get it. I don't understand any part of it. Yes, Lindy.
Sorry, you're allowed to breed and raise chimpanzees in the United States of America?
Indeed. Thank you for asking. And by the way, this all started because basically you can trace this back to people catching chimpanzees in the wild and then making them be part of a domesticated breeding program. One problem among many is that a chimpanzee is a fucking chimpanzee. It's a fucking wild animal. You cannot domesticate them. They are chimpanzees. Okay, so
I think I have the word that you're looking for. A chimpanzee is a monster.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that in the wild it's a monster, but if you bring it into your house and you put a tutu on it and you name it Travis, eventually it's going to eat your friend's face.
It's going to eat your friend's face. And Travis did eat that lady's friend's face. So it ends up being about this woman, Tanya Haddix. So most of the chimpanzees that are in the United States, you can kind of trace back to this one woman named Connie Casey or something. And she's based in Missouri, a place called Festus, Missouri.
Ugh.
Missouri has some of the most lax animal welfare laws, I think, in the country.
Isn't that where Tiger King was?
Yeah. Like Missouri's also been called like the puppy mill capital of the United States. Like they don't really put any restrictions on it. Part of it is because, yes, there is a lot of livestock in Missouri, but it's like, that's not really what we're talking about, although you should be nice to cows also, but whatever. So yeah, it's kind of a very wild in certain parts of Missouri. As a former Missouri resident, I think I can say that. So this woman had this like chimp breeding program. That's where Travis came from, the infamous chimp that tore that woman's face off in Connecticut. Yes.
I just want to say, by the way, I know I said that chimps are monsters, and I say monster parentheses complimentary. Like, yes. I'm Team Travis. Don't take these precious animals out of their home and make them live in your baby nursery. It's disgusting.
Well, it's psychotic. They are monsters in the sense of like, there's just some things you wouldn't invite into your house. Like, I don't want a fucking, I don't want anything other than a dog or a cat. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. But even dogs and cats, they're animals. They're not people. There's limitations to what like you can expect from animals that you bring into your home. But that's especially true for a fucking chimp. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. So the story ends up being about PETA, which I also hate. By the way, they really suck. And they are demonic in a different way. But they were right about this, so I'll hand it to them for the chimp stuff. But just to state my problem with PETA, it's like, it's fine with me if you believe that animals deserve to be treated ethically. It's not fine with me if you want to make that point by dressing up as the KKK. That's not okay with me. Or comparing the suffering of animals to human slavery. I don't like that. And I think that that is morally wrong. Maybe it's ethically fine. You tell me, but I don't care for it. They are correct, however, that chimpanzees should not be pets. So we'll go with them on this one. So anyway, PETA sues Connie because they feel like she is in violation of a federal law about, housing endangered animals or something. Connie ends up transferring her 501c3 chimp sanctuary in Missouri to another woman named Tanya Haddix, who is a real character, gang. And Tanya is sort of the centerpiece of this documentary. She is cuckoo bananas. She freaking loves chimps. She loves all exotics, actually. She at some point becomes like an exotics broker. So she's helping people get like capuchin monkeys and like snakes and stuff. Yeah,
like monkey basketball?
Yeah, like monkey in a basketball. She's like, oh, I rescued you from Big Boy from Outcast. I'm sure everyone listening is familiar with that episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Anyways.
What happens is Big Boy from Outcast is importing exotic animals. He's smuggling them into the country. And then Chief Donald Cragen finds a basketball that is secretly a monkey box. And he opens the basketball. And inside there's a little monkey. And the monkey climbs out and hugs Cragen around the neck.
Cragen. You forgot that Big Boy from Outcast gets eaten alive by a big cat that he illegally imported. So that's important to know as well. Anyway, so Chimp Crazy, it is just this like psychotic journey into the world of, I'm so sorry to say this, insane people who feel like they can't live without chimps. Tanya has a bunch of chimps. There's one chimp in particular named Tonka, who used to be a Hollywood actor, but he's retired. And he was in a movie with Alan Cumming. And Alan Cumming gets on the case of Tonka and is like agitating for Tonka's release because I guess he and Tonka had a special bond on the set of this film. So he's like working with PETA to try to get Tonka to this chimp sanctuary. Basically, I don't want to give too much away. You really all should watch it. First of all, I need someone to talk to about this. And I don't want to give too much away, but it is truly so insane. Like PETA ends up winning a case against the chimp sanctuary. A bunch of the chimps get sent to an animal sanctuary, a certified, accredited, apparently, chimp sanctuary in Florida. But when the U.S. Marshals come to confiscate the chimps, Tonka is missing. And that sets the mystery for the rest of...
Tonka is Gonka.
Tonka was Gonka, and they had to figure out what happened. And Tanya, it's crazy what goes on. The psyche, it kind of delves a little bit into the psyche of people who love exotics, and particular people who want chimpanzees. And I don't want to like psychoanalyze these people, but it's just like they clearly want like affection from something that is not another human being, because human beings need communication, empathy, care, all this in a different way than an animal does. Yeah. And there's just something about it. I think that is part of why it's attractive to some of these people.
They also want to be special. They don't want it to be a dog or a cat. They want to have like tamed a beast that isn't supposed to love them.
So many wild reveals over the course of this documentary. It's just unbelievable what danger people are putting themselves in to be near chimps, to like grievous consequences. And they still, even after something horrible happens to somebody, they'll still say, I want another chimp. I'm going to get another chimp. And one thing I didn't know about Travis, the Connecticut chimp that ripped off that woman's face. God damn. Like, Jesus. I didn't know this, but Travis had a public incident like a couple years before this happened, because the woman who owned Travis would drive him around in her car. But he was, chimps are really smart, and they actually are really social. That's why it's very bad to isolate a chimp from other chimps. They are social beings. They have like little societies. They need to be around other chimps. So Travis, I think, was like slowly going insane, just being alone at home. But she would take him out and drive him around. And at one point they were driving through like somewhere in Connecticut. Somebody littered, like threw a bottle, and it flew through the window of the SUV that Travis was in and hit Travis. Travis, who is very smart, opened the car door and got out and like chased the litter bug. And I was like, well, good thing I didn't throw that Jamba Juice cup at Travis. Jesus Christ. He didn't catch the guy, but then he just wouldn't get back in the car. So for like 3 hours, Travis had tied up traffic in like Hartford or something. And they tried to get him back in the car, but he just opened the door and come back out again. And it was really crazy. And so Connecticut State Police were like, you can't drive him around in your car anymore. It's dangerous for him to be out and about like that. So since that point, she just kept him at home all the time. She couldn't take him out anywhere. He couldn't go anywhere. And he just was going crazy, I think, over the course of that whole 2 years. And I think that was like the lead up. I hadn't heard that. So it's like, one, the Connecticut State Police knew she had this chimp. And they even passed a law that was like, you can't keep a chimp without a license. And they all knew she didn't have a license. And she got to keep Travis. It was just, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
No, the only reason why I haven't watched Chimp Crazy is because I have read quite a bit about chimp attacks. And in general, people keeping exotic pets it's one of the most depressing things.
Yeah.
To me, I have a very hard time coping with it. And so I was just like, I don't know if I can do it, but
it's rough.
You've convinced me, and I will be watching it. And
you should. Trigger warning for all the other softies listening. There is chimp death in this film, or in this series, and there is also bad chimp conditions. It's very sad, and it's it's just wild to watch, because the people keeping them in these like tiny cages with like kitty litter basically on the ground are like, he would never be happier at a sanctuary where he could roam free with his family. He loves this. We're best friends. By the way, going back to my earlier point about like keeping something that like kind of can't talk back to you. Some of these people have kids. Like Tanya Haddix has children, and she'll straight up say, I don't love anyone as much as I love Tonka. And at one point they talk to her son and they're like, what do you think about that? And he's like, well, it's true. And it's just like, it's just like, there's what is happening in the brain of Stroni where you're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, because it's like a human being kind of, but it can't talk, and you can just project any personality you want onto it. and any like feelings and
and
story.
they treat him like kids. Like these this is more than one of these chimps are regularly just like getting Happy Meals, and Travis was like eating spaghetti and drinking wine. I was like, what are you doing to this fucking chimp? Anyway, it is nice. Again, no spoilers, but at the end they do show one of the chimp sanctuaries that is discussed in the movie, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful when you can see the chimps kind of like actually in a closer approximation to their real environment. Definitely worth watching. If you want to see Alan Cumming get emotional about a chimp, highly recommend. If you love cuckoo bananas people who are cuckoo, you will fucking love Chimp Crazy. And once you've watched it, please join the Patreon so that you can join our Discord so I can talk to you about some of the spoilers, because there is one thing that happens that it sent me to space. I am in fact recording this podcast from Mars because I have not come down from this reveal. Okay? Thanks.
And in conclusion, I hope that all of the chimps at the sanctuary are doing okay in the hurricane.
Oh my God. If you are a chimp at the chimp sanctuary, will you call us and let us know you're okay? 703-829-0003. Thanks. And that's what we're watching.
Well, in the words of the great philosopher, let's take it to the bridge. James Brown.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY at checkout.
You know that feeling when your favorite brand really gets you? Deliver that feeling to your customers every time. Memorable moments like these are key to building your business and your brand. Klaviyo turns your customer data into real-time connections across AI-powered email, SMS, and more, making every moment count so you can continue to build smarter, more meaningful relationships with your customers. Build smarter digital relationships with your customers and make every moment count with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/BFCM.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Well, Lindy.
Well, Megan.
Well, Lindy. We did it.
We made another episode, Megan.
Success. Yeah, we did. And now it's over.
I am gobsmacked by the cracking, bloody good time that we had today.
When I was growing up in the council estate, I always dreamed of one day having my own podcast.
You know, I remember one time I said, Mom, I'll bet you 10 bags of crisps that I will someday have a podcast on the BBC.
I threw my vest on right under my jumper, ran out to the microphone store and said, "Let's go, podcast." That's what I said.
Anyway, here we are. So here we are. We did it. Speaking of jumpers, we have merch.
Oh, segue alert.
Yeah.
We did it. We're merch women. By the way, you better hop on it because some of the sizes are already sold out. We're going to probably have to do a second run. We're starting with stuff like t-shirts, a classic white tee. We've got some tote bags, and we've got the much requested, the much ballyhooed Kayak Dad crewneck sweatshirt. So we will put the link to the web store in our show notes. And we should have some merch in person at our live show in Beaverton, Oregon, November 7th. At the Reeser. Still tickets available, but again, you better act fast because we're very popular.
It's so true. And also, right now we only have totes, tees, and sweatshirts, but later in the month we are going to have mugs, and we are going to have stickers, and we are going to have pins. And
indeed,
we have so many other merch ideas, and basically this is all contingent on how well things sell. So if you want to see our other merch ideas, buy some merch, and then we can afford to make the other ones.
We can afford to do more merch. And if you subscribe to the Patreon at the $6 or $8 level, you can get a discount code for the shop. If you subscribe at $6, you get 10% off. And if you subscribe at $8, you get 20%. So better get on it.
It's a great deal.
Patreon.com/textmebackpod. Be there or be square.
I'm so proud of our merch designed by Corianton Hale,
a king of the graphic design industry.
By the way, I don't know how to do merch. And so when the merch company said, how many of each size do you want? I just guessed. And I discriminated against smaller people.
We'd like to apologize to the thin community.
I don't think I said enough of small, medium, and large because those are gone. Of the t-shirt.
Sorry, girls.
But we're gonna make more. Don't even worry about it. And it seems like our merch turns around real fast once we put the order in. So you shouldn't have to wait super long. And thanks to everyone who's bought some already. We're all gonna look so freaking cute this fall.
So cute.
I can't wait to get a Kayak Dad sweatshirt.
The final announcement is as follows. Next week's episode is going to be a live episode. It will be recorded at the Seattle Public Library, and you will listen to it with your little ear holes, and you're going to love it. We're doing a little election preview, and we are going to be joined by Brett Hamill and Naomi Ishisaka to talk about the news. So make sure you listen to that episode because we will also be announcing the tattoo winner at long last, because I will be in Seattle. Lindy and I will be getting the winning tattoo. So stay tuned. Very excited to tell you all about it next week on Text Me Back.
Also at our live show at the library, Marisa Buss, library employee.
A woman of library experience.
Yes, we're going to do a little FMK, our favorite game, but with banned books, because we're edgy.
Yeah, she's going to make love to a book. Gross.
It's going to be really fun. Except it's already sold out. Oh, it already happened.
Sold out, and also it already happened. But enjoy listening to it next week. Thanks.
I love making art.
Attention, Le Louvre. I have a new admission for you, and it's this podcast.
So,
okay.
If you want to support the podcast, subscribe to the Patreon, tell your friends, give a little share, leave a little accolade. It all helps, and we're just so grateful to everyone who supports this show. We love making it, and we love our fans and our community. Someone in the Discord said that someone asked them to describe what the Discord is like, and they said it's like they think of it as social media, but nice.
Oh,
I know.
That's nice. That's so nice. I post in there, but not under my name. You'll never guess who I am in the Discord. And that's our final mystery of this episode. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to Text Me Back. If you like the show, please tell your best friend about us. Be sure to rate and review us. It helps people find the show. And most importantly, please support our Patreon so we can keep making this. It's patreon.com/textmebackpod. Text Me Back is a production of Meagan and Lindy, proud members of the BFF Network. Our senior producer is Megan Hatcher-Mays. Our other senior producer is me. Our show is supported by Co-Pilot Collective and produced by Allie Slice. Our digital strategist is Chance Nichols.
Diana Bowen is our video and creative wizard. Our production team includes Lindy West, Megan Hatcher-Mays, our loves, our anxieties, and our fears.
Our music is by Chief Ahamefule J. Oluo.
Special thanks to our perfect angels, Jeannie Yandel, Brandy Fullwood, and Isolde Raftery.
I'm Lindy West.
And I'm Megan Hatcher-Mays. See you next week. Mwah!